in this episode of Sigle Radio. We're going to sit down with Amberly Lago, the founder of the Unstoppable Life Mastermind, best-selling author, international speaker. Wow. Amberly shares her personal journey of overcoming tremendous adversity, including surviving 34 surgeries after a devastating motorcycle accident, and how she turned her pain into purpose by embracing her PACER method. Amberly has empowered thousands of people to harness grit and resilience for unstoppable success in both business and life. Welcome, Amberly. How are you this morning?
Hey, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Holy cow, 34. Do they have your own room at the hospital? 34 surgeries.
Oh, well, it was a party when I finally got to leave. All the nurses came in, the pain doctors. I had a team of doctors, and it was quite the farewell, but I could not wait to get out of that hospital. 34 surgeries, but I had a 1% chance of saving my leg, and it was just a surgery, then a day of recovery, then a surgery, then a day of recovery. And I took that 1% chance. It was my glimmer of hope, and it took a lot of grit, and they saved it. But that's why I was speaking earlier about having a little bit of a leg issue, is because I was
34 surgeries. That sounds like a lot of a leg issue.
Yeah, but I learned to drive with my left. Actually, I used to drive with my left foot, and I would drive with my right leg up on the dashboard because the circulation and the pain was so bad. And it was really pretty pathetic when I broke my arm on my crutches coming down the stairs. So I now had a broken leg and a broken arm, but I still drove. I'd just prop my arm up and prop my right leg up and be like, look out for the girl driving the F-250 down the road.
That's pretty interesting, driving an F-250, one arm, one leg.
Yeah. That's how we do it. Get her done.
So were you racing a motorcycle, or you're like an Evel Knievel, or what were you doing?
No, I definitely wasn't Evel Knievel. I was cruising down Ventura Boulevard, actually, and I was only going about 19 miles an hour. And I know that because when you crash a motorcycle, the speedometer sticks to whatever speed that you were going. But I was cruising along, and this SUV shot out of a parking lot, and I got T-boned.
Wow, you're lucky to be here.
Oh, you know what? I'm so lucky because I was thrown 30 feet and I was just sliding across the asphalt. And when I came to a stop, my leg was crumbled into pieces. And I did not know it at the time, but there was a lot of blood, of course, but my femoral artery was actually severed. And luckily, I had a guy that came over right away, took his belt off, and made a tourniquet on my leg. So he really saved my life. And paramedics were right down the street at a Coffee Bean. So they started running towards me before they even got the call, and then rushed to the hospital. So I think that I was really lucky that I had, this guardian angel make a tourniquet, that the paramedics were right down the street, and that I had a husband that they put me in induced coma, and my husband, they wanted to amputate. My husband was like, no, I don't want you to amputate her leg. I want her to wake up and it to be with both of her legs and for it to be her choice. And so I chose to keep my leg.
So it sounds like it's a good choice for you.
Yeah, it has been a tremendous road of recovery. And I think pain has been one of my biggest teachers. I was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome after the accident, as a result of the accident, and it's ranked highest on the pain scale. There's supposedly no known cure. And when I was diagnosed, I didn't want to believe it. So I went to another doctor. He told me the same thing. Didn't want to believe it. I was like, this can't be my life. Went to another doctor, and I was told that I would never walk again, never work again, be permanently disabled. And it took about 2 years of in and out of a wheelchair, but I learned how to walk again. I travel all over the country. And I just want to share that, We aren't defined by our circumstances, but I think we're defined by our resilience.
Yeah. Well, I guess that makes you an expert on adversity. So how did you get through all of that? What was it that what was the background of getting through that?
Well, I think that growing up in Texas and being an athlete and a professional dancer, and I had coaches that helped me with a mindset to get through hard times. Also, I didn't have a real easy childhood, which really helped me because every hard thing that I went through really prepared me for this time in my life, which was the most horrible, catastrophic thing I'd ever been through. And so I think it really started with focusing on what I could control and letting go of what I couldn't, like really getting into gratitude because I'm not going to lie, I was spiraling down into a depression. I remember, the nurses would come in and they would have to pull these bandages off my leg, and my leg was held together by these metal bars. And it was like re-breaking my leg every time they had to lift my leg up. And I just remember thinking, okay, I've got a choice here. I can, spiral down into a depression and despair, or I can choose to focus on the things that I do have. And I was like, you know what? I'm alive. I have a family that loves me. I still have my leg for today. I can breathe. I've got all these nice nurses taking care of me. Um, Friends and family that were coming to see me. And so I know this sounds so simple, but I started focusing on gratitude every day, and it was alchemy. It really changes what you can't do into what you can do, and what you don't have into what you do have. And so gratitude was how I started to shift my mindset. And then I had people go, "Well, weren't you so angry at that guy that hit you?" And I didn't have time to be focused on anger. All I did was focus on what could I do to be the healthiest I could be mentally, spiritually, and physically. And so from everything I ate, um, praying, uh, focusing on actually still reaching out and calling people. I remember calling clients and maybe this is kind of crazy, but I would call them and say, "Hey, I might be in ICU right now, but third quarter, I'm getting out of here and we are going to finish strong." Or just giving them exercise tips or writing their nutritional plans for them because I was in the fitness industry for 26 years. And so I noticed when I could help someone else, it made me feel good. It made me feel like I could still be in service and I still had a purpose.
That's amazing. We're going to continue our conversation with Amberly Lago when we come back. Continuing our conversation this morning, I am chatting with Amberly Lago. Amazing story. If you missed her background of her story, shame on you. We're gonna have to go back to the earlier segment where where Amberly really gave us some great information, and it's an amazing story. So, Amberly, how do you find joy when you're going through all this pain and hardship? How do you do that?
Well, you know what? I discovered that there are absolutely ways to we all have pain, whether it's physical or emotional or financial pain. But there are absolutely ways to build joy despite living with pain. I know this because I live in chronic pain every single day. And I think one of the things that helps me the most is community and connection. In fact, I had a lot of misconceptions about grit. I thought that, well, Angela Duckworth says that grit is the key predictor of success. And it's not whether, you're how good looking you are, how much money you have, how talented, it's your ability to work hard for long periods of time. So I was working, 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 and I had no joy. I was all about the grit. And what I realized is, I had health scares and confused it for heroic acts, and I confused fear for function and sacrifice for success. And I realized the piece that was missing out of my life was connection and community. And I realized that grit with connection is where you find resilience and joy. grit without connection, it just feels like resistance. It feels like you're clawing your way to the top. It's hitting rock bottom, or and so I really want to share that, to reach out, that you don't have to do it alone. That, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a new mom. I remember being a new mom and feeling so alone. I was an entrepreneur and I felt so alone in my journey. And we were talking before we started the show about how I knew Greg Reed. One of the things that in the very beginning of my entrepreneurial journey as a speaker, coach, and author, was I got in Greg Reed's mastermind, and that inspired me to do my own mastermind. And I think that is what brings me such joy, is I get to help other women thrive and really succeed in their businesses. But I think joy is really finding the things that you love to do, whether that's dancing or listening to music. Um, but it's increasing your energy. I think energy is everything, and everything is energy.
Interesting. Is grit something we can learn?
Absolutely. I think it's something we can learn, but I think it doesn't come easy. And, I don't know, this just kind of popped in my head of, I'm really glad that my oldest daughter, she saw me. I was a single mom when she was a year old, and I started from the ground up. I started my fitness business. I bought a house after I'd lost my house and lost everything. And she saw that, and she saw how hard I worked. And then she studied hard, and now she is going to Yale. She's in medical school. I mean,
Wow.
she's just got some grit. My youngest daughter, I'm so glad that she's a horseback rider, and she gets thrown off her horse and she gets back on. She gets disappointed when her horse is bucking her or rearing up, and she learns grit, she learns resilience, and it brings her joy to get to ride. And so I think it's important to let our kids struggle a little bit, let them fight some of their own battles, let them, I told my daughter, I'm like, look, we're going to help you buy a truck, but it's up to you to buy the gas. And she wants bigger tires and bigger rims, and she wants um, a new bumper, like all these things. And we're like, you know what? Then get to work, get some grit, and you can buy those tires and wheels. Well, she did. She started working, started her online business. She's 16, and she's shipping out stuff all the time. Well, she's shipping out Breyer horses and custom horses that she makes.
Wait. She's shipping out horses?
Little, I should say model horses. I
Oh,
shouldn't say
oh,
like
holy
real
cow.
horses.
16 and shipping horses is
She's
pretty amazing.
practicing for that.
Okay, so you've got a pacer methodology. What is a pacer methodology?
Well, you know what? It actually came from, I was sitting at the dinner table with my husband, and he looked at me and he was like, "You really need to pace yourself." I guess I looked really tired. And as an entrepreneur, I was kind of offended when he said, "Pace yourself." And I thought, you know what? I do pace myself. And I got a dinner napkin and I started writing down. I wrote the word pace, and then I figured out I needed to add a R. I learned that the hard way. But I developed this pacer, which allows me to get through challenges, and I share it with others, whether they're going through fear or pain or anxiety, or they're just sad, to run through this quick checklist of P stands for perspective, how you can quickly shift your perspective. And the easiest way to do that is with gratitude. And sometimes I know it can be hard, but practicing gratitude every day can really shift your perspective, and it changes your mindset. And it allowed me to be in acceptance for where I was. So I have to really be in acceptance. And I think it's important to start where you are. Um, know where you're going. I was in denial for a long time about this nerve disease and the scars, and it led me to really bad choices. It led me to isolating, and being acceptance led me to being able to be vulnerable and have connection and community. And so connection and community is the next part of pacer, and then it takes endurance. And so it's where you tap into your why to get through anyhow. And then the last part of the PACER methodology is rest. And I've had to really make rest a part of my business strategy instead of thinking of resting as quitting. It's like resting is how I'm going to recover, rejuvenate, and then be able to do even more.
Well, and you told me earlier you have a Tesla, so the rest is recharge also.
That's right.
We're gonna continue our conversation with Amberly Lago when we come back. Continuing our conversation, Amberly Lago, expert mindset coach, best-selling author, keynote speaker, we're chatting with her this morning. And we got, unfortunately, we only have a short time left and a lot to still cover. But how do you have joy through this journey with all these ups and downs, Amberly?
I really think it's surrounding yourself with the right people. I always say you got to get rid of the doggy downers and stick with the puppy uppers. Like, stick with people with good energy, who lift you up, who have big dreams, who believe in you. I know that for a long time after my motorcycle accident, I didn't really believe in myself, and I think sometimes you need somebody to believe in you so you can believe in yourself. That's how it was for me anyway. And I had a doctor that believed in me. My husband believed in me. And most of all, my children believed in me. I think that joy comes from deep within us. And so it's important to really take care of ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually. It's not just one thing. It's not, I think nowadays a lot of people just want to quick fix. They want to take a pill, feel better. And it's like, it's really mentally, physically, spiritually. And when I know that I can do the things, I have a morning ritual, and I know everybody's morning ritual has to really work for them. But for me, I have a gratitude practice where I have a group of ladies. We call ourselves the God Squad, and we write 10 things down and we share that with each other. I get on my knees and I pray. That helps me feel more spiritually connected. I am also
And that's
sober.
missing a lot in our country as a whole right now.
I think so too. It's a lot. It is. I was listening to a country song about that the other day.
Yeah. So it's a shame that we've gotten away from that, because you can see, I think our whole country, we'd have a lot of people would be a lot happier than we see right now. Everyone's wanting to argue with each other over things that are pretty minutia.
Yeah.
And just get back to that part of things. Now your focus in your business is on helping women, is that right?
Yeah. I help women who want to get on more stages, who want to write a book, who want to start their own podcast, who want to share their message to make a positive impact in the world. And it's so fulfilling to me. And I think that's important for you to spark joy, is to do something that really is fulfilling to you, that you love to do. And like I said before, whether that's dance, I started dancing when I was 3 years old. And so I had a speaker agent one time that told me, do not dance on stage. It is not professional. And I was like, I can't help it. It just brings me joy. Like, I get on stage, I don't plan it. It just comes out because I'm being so fulfilled being on stage and connecting with all these people that I just start dancing. But I love being able to help other women. In
And
fact,
that makes you feel real too, doesn't it?
you know what? I think having a purpose and doing something that you love, I think it's so important. And whether, people sometimes go, well, I don't know what my purpose is. Well, it's usually connected to something that brings you joy, something that you would do that you're good at, that you may not even think you're good at because it comes easy for you. But yeah, I love being able to see these women. In fact, right after this, I have one of my mastermind members who is going to be on my show. I have a show called the Amberly Lago Show, and she's going to be at the studio. I like to give these women a platform and put them on stage and make introductions for them and just see their businesses grow. But more than that, to see their confidence grow and their belief in themselves.
That's amazing. So do you? I think I saw that you've got an event coming up, and we created, because it's got a longer link. I put it in the rsrlinks.com/Amberly event, and it goes
Oh,
right
thank
to your Unstoppable Success Summit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love this summit. Last year we had John Gordon and Ben Newman and Rachel Luna and many more. And then this year we have this Unstoppable Success Summit. It's for entrepreneurs and for people who really want to grow and level up their business. We've got Trent Shelton coming this year. We've got Leah Valencia, Renee Rodriguez, and Brooke Hemingway, and more. And I also give my mastermind members, they get 5 minutes on stage to share like a mini TED style talk. So it's a lot of fun. It's a day and a half, and it's really not for just inspiration or motivation. It's to really learn tips, tools, and strategies to level up your business and your mindset.
Where's that at?
It's in Dallas, Texas, April 25th and 26th.
April 25th and 26th in Dallas, Texas. Go visit the website, rsrlinks.com/Amberly event, and it'll get you right there. Get registered and go learn from someone who's done it. And when you really talk about things, pulling yourself up from your bootstraps and getting going from challenging times to now being able to help others. You know, he loves watching where people can actually go out and dedicate themselves to doing what they're enjoying, but helping others at the same time. So glad to see you're doing well. If I can help you in any way, give us a call.